Hey everyone, how's it going? So what am I working on now? Well, I just finished making that video on my buddy's Chris's Suburban, where I changed the right front hub bearing in the driveway. And when I went and I road tested it, I realized the ABS light was on. Well, the ABS light's always been on. Never bothered to check to see what was actually causing it. So I decided, let's hook a scanner up to it and see what it is. And it has codes for the left front wheel speed sensor. Circuit open. Okay. Circuit open. Alright, usually broken wire. Okay, so I went to the left front wheel and guess what? Broken wire. Doesn't necessarily mean it's the whole problem, could be an additional problem. So I'm just going to show you how I'm going to do a quick repair in the driveway to the harness. Hopefully it fixes the problem. I don't know yet though. Might not fix the problem. But we're going to try it and see what happens. Chris doesn't even know about it. He knew he had an ABS light on for a while, but he didn't know about this. So let me just show you what I got. So there, you see the harness, and that's been busted for a while. Okay, not a big deal. I am not going to bother jacking this thing up to pull wheels off and everything else to do this repair. I'm going to do this right here in the vehicle as it sits. Now, the biggest problem is, I don't know how well I can get in there to show you this, because you might be in my way. Because for me to work, I got to work right here. So I don't know. How am I going to do this? Let's see. All right, let me devise something, some way of doing this, and then we'll do this repair. It's probably easier if I pull that top harness out because it goes to a plug right there, and just clean it up and fix it there. And then I'll pull this one out of that grommet right there. This way I have it up in my face more to actually do a repair. All right, let me come up with something and then we'll get back to this. All right, I've got a fan blowing on me, so hopefully that's not affecting this too much. So now, let's open up this connector, or this retainer here, so I can pull the wire up. And we'll undo this one right here, so I can pull this wire up. Of course, this one is not cooperating. I'm gonna have to get something underneath there to pry that up. Okay, hang on a second. All right. Now, if you remember on the other side, I had issues getting that connector up and out. Well, actually not the connector, but the retainer. I'm kind of trying to do this by feel. This side, the shield is in a... dang it. Of course, it broke free. It actually ripped apart. The other piece stayed in place, so okay. Is what it is. Alright, so what we're going to do here, if you see this end here, let me shut these lights off actually. I kill the battery if I don't have to, right? So what I'm going to do here is this outer sheath. I'm just going to use a simple box cutter. El cheapo box cutter. All-way tools. Okay. I don't even know where I got this from. All I'm doing is cutting off the outer sheath. That's all I'm doing. Heck, I don't even know if this razor blade is razoring anymore. But you want to be mindful so you don't cut through the wiring on the inside. Okay. Actually, I'm going to probably go back even further. And be careful so you don't cut your fingers, obviously. Alright, go back even further. Just want to see what the wire condition is on the inside here. I don't know what I did with my little wire strippers. If I might have taken them to work by accident. the ones I keep at home. Now, if you look closely, see the end of this wire here? It's actually got corrosion on it, so I'm going to have to trim it back a little bit, which is fine. It's absolutely fine. I'm going to do both wires. I'm going to trim it back to right where I cut that one. Now, usually I tell you to stagger these, but I'm dealing with a limited amount of wire to begin with. So I'm just going to do it like this. And I'm fine with that. That's good wire right there. All right. So, good wire. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to use on here, we are going to use these handy devices. These things are really cool because you can put them in place, heat them up, and then there's solder in these that flows. I'm just kidding, they're garbage. Don't use those. Okay. Never use those. They are trash. I don't care. I've had people comment on how you should do this, that, and the other thing to make them work. No, I shouldn't have to go through 37 steps to make those things work. Here's what we're using. Solderless butt connectors, or unshielded butt connectors. What do they call them? Butt connectors non-insulated. Okay. See these? I get these on Amazon. So we're going to use 2 on here, and these are the teeny tiny ones. And I like using these for like very small wires like these. And what's really fun is when you accidentally rip the bag and you drop them and these things go all over the floor. Yeah, that's a great time. So, seal it up. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm just putting stuff down on my side here. I know you can't see it. I'm just twisting them up. Now these do not have a seam in them. It's best if you use the type that don't have a seam in it. Sometimes you don't have a choice depending on where you're at or whatever you're doing. Sometimes you do not have a choice, and I understand that. What I will usually do is where you see the dimple on there, I will usually try to put the crushing piece opposite of that, usually. Sometimes you can't. That's usually what I'll try to do. So it's fully buried on there. So now we just give it a quick squeeze. Squeeze, it's very squeezed. It's very squeezedy. Okay, now same thing on this one. And give it a nice little squeeze. Just like that. Okay? Perfect. You don't have to worry about it. Don't have to go any further. All right. So now, let's move our attention to this other wire. And here, we turn some light on. And let me move the wire to up here. Now, same thing. We're going to trim off the shield here. These glasses I got are terrible. I always say be careful so you don't cut yourself. Can't tell you how many times I've done that. Cutting yourself with a razor blade is not fun. But I can honestly tell you, I've done it many a time. And not once did I have fun doing it. The aftermath could land you in the hospital if you're not careful. See, I actually cut the wire there. So just be careful when you're doing this. Try not to go too far. Alright. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I sort of go off in my own little world while I'm doing stuff like this. So sometimes I forget I'm actually filming myself because I talk to myself all the time anyway. So, alright. So now what we're going to do is we're going to trim this back. Only because I cut into the wire. So we're going to trim it back to here and here. Plus it gets rid of any corrosion because that wiring has corrosion in it. So now what we'll do is we'll strip it. Now the one already has a cut in it, but that's fine because now when I strip it, we'll be past a cut. Actually, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit better. See how easy that one's stripped? That's because I partially cut the wire. But it's fine, it's not going to hurt anything. Okay, so now we just do the twisty twist. And then we're all good with that. Now, let me get some heat shrink. And I'll show you the heat shrink that I have. This is the heat shrink stuff. So this is what I get. I get this from Amazon too. I'll try to put links into the profile. Here, these are liquid, or not liquid, they're glue lined or adhesive lined heat shrink. You want to use adhesive lined because it keeps corrosion from getting into your repair. So now these things, I actually just cut them in half, like so. And then I will put this down in the wire. Okay, so now let's get the other piece that I just put the ends on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the heat shrink over the wires here. I just have to remember this is blue, this is brown, although it really honestly doesn't make a difference. It really does not make a difference. If you switch them, the computer wouldn't know any better. Matter of fact, I'll prove that right now. This is the brown wire. See it? There's the brown wire that I'm on. I'll go to the blue. Oops. And now I'll take the blue wire, see it? And I will put this one to the brown. Just like that. Okay, so now we slide the heat shrink. One wire might be a little bit longer than the other, but that's okay. It's not going to hurt nothing. Okay, slide the heat shrink over, just like that. And I always carry in my pocket a trusty lighter. It's from long ago when I used to smoke cigarettes. If you smoke, stop. It's not good for you. Okay, and there we go. That's the repair, all said and done. Good question is, do I actually have electrical tape? I don't even know if I do. Let me go look and see if I have electrical tape, just so I can cover that little area up. Or if I have any of that wire loom stuff. Let me go check and see. I did find electrical tape, but I did find some wire loom. All I'm going to do is stick some wire loom on here in between those two pieces. I'm going to cut it to length, right about there. It really is not going to affect much of anything. It helps protect the wire a little bit. Why is this fighting me so bad? Probably because it's old loom. There we go. That's perfectly fine like that. Like I said, I'm not sure if this is gonna, if this is the whole problem. I'm kind of assuming it is. It's a little difficult to get that connector connected up in there. See it? And it's kind of tucked away nicely, so I'm not overly concerned about it. There's really nothing in the way over there that's going to affect it that much. Okay. And that's it. So now, I take my lights out of here. Now, I should have probably filmed the fact that the light was on, but if you look in the video, the previous video, you'll see in the beginning that the light was on and when I first started. However, you couldn't see it at the very end because I didn't show the dashboard at all. So yeah, let's now see if the light is on or off. It should go off immediately. Although sometimes I have seen it where you have to drive them. Alright, it is still kicking a light. But the only code was left front. Let's go up the road real quick. So it is possible sensor's no good. That is a very, very good possibility. We are just going to go up the street, see if the light turns off. Oh, there we go. So perfect. So now it's actually seeing speed. So now the ABS will work fine. So also there, I just wanted to show you that you can switch the wires. You can reverse them by mistake, and it's not going to affect anything. On a 2-wire sensor, it's not going to affect anything. So, all right, let me get this thing turned around and get back to the house. I just wanted you to see that the light is still out. As I'm going down the road here. On the house any moment. So yay, it's all fixed. Chris is going to be happy with this. So I am happy with this. All right, so that's good. I'm happy with that repair. So hub and bearing for one video, and that's an hour-long video, and then this wheel speed sensor. So that's all said and good. Believe it or not, I've seen it to where, because this has auto 4-wheel drive, and I've seen auto 4-wheel drive get affected by inaccurate wheel speed sensor readings. So just something to think about. Excuse me. All right, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you got something out of that. I always learn a little something when I'm doing something like that. I learned, be careful when you're cutting. I knew that, but I should have known better. But it didn't really matter. I only did was shorten the wire slightly, but it really didn't matter. I don't have a lot to play with, but it was still good enough. All right. Hopefully you're getting something out of my videos. If you are, hit that like button. If you could, please subscribe. All right, guys, have a great day. Keep wrenching. Oops.